So students, let us continue with marginal utility analysis. So marginal utility analysis is formulated by Alfred Marshall. This theory is based on certain assumptions. We'll see all those assumptions. Before that, we should know what is total utility and marginal utility. So for that, we'll approach the table here. So you are consuming chocolate bar, and also remember that in this approach, utility can be measured in terms of units called utils. Okay, so here utility can be measured. Let us say when you consume one chocolate bar, the utility that you got is 30. So, and when you consume the second one, you got 20. And when you immediately consume the third one, you got 15. And when you immediately consume the fourth one, you got 10. So after that 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, 0 and negative minus 4. So as you keep on consuming, your utility will go down. So this is nothing but a marginal utility. The marginal utility is defined as the additional utility you got by consuming a additional unit. So here the additional utility that we got by consuming additional unit 2 is second chocolate is 20. The additional unit third chocolate gave the utility of 15. Fourth chocolate gave the utility of 10. So this is nothing but the marginal utility. So total utility is nothing but the sum of all marginal utilities. If you see 50, it is the sum of 20 plus 30. If you see 65, it is the sum of 15, 20, 30. If you see 75, it is the sum of 10, 15, 20 and 30. So this is how total utility and marginal utility are calculated. So here they have given total utility. Assuming that utility is measurable and additive, total utility is defined as a sum of utility derived from different units of a commodity consumed by a consumer. So we have seen utilities of different units. It is nothing but total utility is equal to marginal utility of first, marginal utility of second, plus so on, marginal utility of n. What is marginal utility? Addition made to the total utility by the consumption of a additional unit. In our example, additional unit was chocolate. So there are certain assumptions in this marginal utility approach analysis. First one is consumer is rational. Consumer is rational and attempts to attain maximum satisfaction. He attempts to attain maximum satisfaction with his limited money. So whenever they tell you that consumer is rational, he'll always try to get the maximum satisfaction. And next thing is cardinal measurability of utility. So this law of diminishing marginal utility theory assumes that utility can be measured. That's how we got the marginal utility and total utility. The units of utility are utils, utils, utils. And next, constancy of the marginal utility of money. So here the money has the constant marginal utility. This is the assumption of this theory. As and when you spend the money, you get the same satisfaction from per rupee you have spent. And also the hypothesis of individual utility says that the total utility which a person gets from the whole collection of the goods purchased by him is simply the sum total of the separate utility of the goods. So it is nothing but total utility is nothing but sum of all marginal utilities. But here this theory ignores complementarity between the goods. Let's say we'll take the example of tea and sugar only, which we have taken early. So if you have tea, it includes tea leaves, milk, sugar. if you consume tea, you will get one satisfaction. But if you consume these three separately, you will not get the same satisfaction as you get for when you consume tea. So that's why this theory ignores complementarity between the goods. I hope you understood it. The law of diminishing marginal utility, it says simply, as a consumer consumes more and more units of a good, the intensity of his want for the good goes on decreasing. So here you are consuming chocolate bar more. If you are consuming more and more chocolate bars, you want it very less. Also, as and a point is reached where the consumer no longer wants it. So this is the point where you don't no longer wants it, and after that it became negative also. So zero and minus, what they are saying. Thus, the greater the amount of the good consumer has, the less the additional unit it is worth to him. So the additional benefit which a person derives from a given increase in the stock of a thing diminishes with every increase in the stock that he already has. That we have discussed. So the additional benefit decreases with the number of goods, number of commodities that a person has. The number of units of a commodity that a person consumes. So Roy will try to draw the curve of total utility with the number of units. It will increase, but at a declining way. T, and after some point it starts declining. So if you see till 98 is the peak of this one. Till 98 it reached here, and after that it started declining. 94. From 30 it has increased. So TU shape is always convex. Please remember this, TU shape is always convex. But if you see the shape of curve of marginal utility, it's always declining. It is always downward sloping, right? It is always downward sloping, and after some point it becomes zero, and after some point it becomes negative. Let us see the characteristics. First one is TU rises as long as MU is positive, but as long as but at a diminishing rate, because MU is diminishing. So as long as MU is positive, TU will rise. So if you see 30, 50, 65, 75, 83, 89, 93, 96, 98, as long as MU is positive, it is rising, right? When MU is negative, TU is diminishing. So when MU is negative, TU is diminishing. From 98 to 94, it is decreasing. Diminishing is nothing but decreasing. So when MU became negative, it started decreasing. That's what they want to see. And marginal utility curve diminishes throughout. So marginal utility decreases throughout. That's why it has a downward slope. When marginal utility is 0, total utility is maximum. It is a saturation point. Yes. So when marginal utility is 0, TU is maximum. So 98 is the maximum. It is nothing but the saturation point. So this is the maximum utility that uh, that a person can have when the marginal utility is negative. Tu is diminishing, that we have seen. Mu is the rate of change in Tu or the slope of Tu. So guys, slope is nothing but, I'll just try to make you understand using mathematics. If you know the slope very well, slope is nothing but y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1 is nothing but, let's say this is Tu. Tu is drawn in y-axis, is drawn in x-axis. If you see 50 minus 30 by 2 minus 1, what it will be? 50 minus 30 by 2 minus 1, it will be 20. So 20 is the marginal utility. So can we say that marginal utility is the slope of total utility curve? Yes. That's the reason mu is the rate of change of Tu or slope of Tu. Marginal utility can be positive, 0 or negative. We have seen that it has been positive. After sometimes it became 0 at saturation point, and after that it became negative. That's all. And next, this law not apply to money, music and hobbies. Guys, obviously the more money you have, the more you want it, right? So obviously music also will not get bored of music. Maybe we get bored of the song, but will not get bored of the music. Also our hobbies, so we'll not get bored of our hobbies also. Marginal utility curve is always downward sloping. One more thing, consumer will be in equilibrium. Equilibrium means he'll be deriving the maximum satisfaction. He'll be deriving the maximum satisfaction with respect of the quantity of the good when the marginal utility of the good is equals to its price. Here the satisfaction will be maximum. Let us say mu equals to 30 and price is also equals to 30. Here utility we are measuring with money only. Okay, so marginal utility is nothing but the amount that the person is ready to pay for the good. So if mu is 30 and price is 30, obviously here at this point, this is the equilibrium for the person. Let's say if mu is 25 and the price equals to 20, so what will the customer do? He'll purchase, he'll consume one good unit of chocolate, let's say. The marginal utility that he gets from 1 unit of chocolate is 25 and the price is 20. So when he consumes the second quantity, second chocolate, it will be 23. The price will still be 20. And when he consumes the third, it will be 21. It will still be 20. So the price that he is paying is 20. The satisfaction that he is receiving is 25. Here he is in a surplus. He is enjoying because he was ready to pay 25, but he is getting at 20 only. So he is at a surplus. Okay. Here is also at a surplus. Here also he is at a surplus. So when mu becomes 20 and the price becomes 20, this is nothing but equilibrium. Okay. You got it? Yeah. So guys, till now we have seen only one good. What if there are two goods? So there's something called law of equimarginal utility. Okay, it says that a consumer is said to be in equilibrium when marginal utility of one good by price of its good equals to marginal utility of another good by price of another good. So it is nothing but mu per unit of rupee. Of writing per unit, marginal unity per rupee spent by customer. Per rupee spent. See, if marginal utility per rupee spent by customer for X is equal to marginal utility per rupee spent by Y, spent for Y by the customer, then he will be at a equilibrium between X and Y. Okay, because he's getting the same amount of marginal utility by spending the same amount of money. So this is nothing but law of equimarginal utility. So also there are some limitations of this law, means exceptions where this law does not apply, or drawbacks of this law will study. Homogeneous unit. So this law is applied only when we are eating the same type of chocolate, okay, all the time. So if you are eating another chocolate, the marginal utility varies. Obviously it might increase also. So you need to consume the same type of chocolate. And the standard unit of consumption, standard unit of consumption. Guys, if there's a thirsty man and he asks you water, and if you give the water in spoon, obviously after the first spoon he wants more water, so he wants second spoon also. The satisfaction he gets from the second spoon will be higher than the first spoon because he's thirsty, and you are giving him water in spoon, but it's not correct, right? You should give water in glass. Okay, so when he have the second glass, his marginal utility will be low, right? So we should use standard unit. We should not use spoon for water. Okay, like that. And third thing is continuous consumption. Let us say I am having chocolate now, and if I have chocolate next day, obviously the marginal utility will be same. So we need to consume continuously. So only when you consume continuously, this law applies. Okay. This law fails in case of prestigious goods. So if there's any prestigious good that you're buying, like gold, cash, diamonds. So if you're buying gold, if you're buying diamonds, obviously your satisfaction will be high only. Your marginality will be high. So it will not decrease second time when you buy gold or diamond because they will increase in value. Also, it applies in case of hobbies, alcohol, cigarette, rare collection. Okay. So, case of related goods, utility is in fact independent, is not in fact independent. So we have seen tea and sugar example. So your utility is affected by substitutes and complements. So we can come to this after demand chapter. Now I think you cannot understand this. Let us leave this point for now. It is based on unrealistic assumptions. These assumptions are cardinal measurability of utility and constancy of marginal utility of money, continuous consumption and consumer rationality are unrealistic. So it this theory operates under certain set of conditions. It cannot operate without these conditions. So also these are unrealistic because every consumer need not be rational. He might be purchasing just like that, and he need not consume continuously, right? Will not consume generally. That's all. So guys, that's all for today. I hope you liked it. We'll continue with consumer surplus next day. Thank you guys.